since your pocket's empty, ain't nothing but just a shame. And ain't trying to turn a profit, lost homies along the way. With it, wishing it was way different, still can change what happened. Gotta put on form in each of my every actions. At the forum, I'm performing, I'm preaching out to the masses. This is shit, you hit the pitch, split his shit and break his backs. Life a movie, making classes. This a boat, then I'm the captain. They keep on calling me GOAT, but bitch, I'm a fucking dragon. If you trying to die, then pick your poison. I got 5 ways.
Hello everyone, welcome to Noonie TV. Today we'll be talking about the beginner's build and entrance towards the road to endgame. But first, don't forget to subscribe, as this will help us continue to make more content and help others in the game. Okay, so the Magicka Nightblade. First off, let's take away some of the myths from the facts about playing as a Nightblade. One of the myths, blades is squishy in PvE. The truth is that is false. Fact is, blades are one of the best survivalists, fast, quick, and stealthy class in the PvE game. Another myth, blades have a complicated user rotation. Blades indeed have a not beginner friendly rotation. However, this is widely because a blade rotation does not only provide damage, but also survivability, which technically once mastered you don't even have to have a self heal, because the blade's pass is followed by the certain damage skills, and siphon attack will keep you alive the longest you're not stepping in a death circle, aka people in the game call it stepping in stupid. Another myth, blades are not good in endgame and lack damage. That is false. Blades are one of the best in endgame and top selfish class. Reason people avoid them is because they don't know how to survive and play them properly, and rather go to a class where you can just do easy damage rather than understanding that the blade survives in many scenarios, are fast, mobile, great for downstairs teams, backyards, and portals and trials. Another myth, blades doesn't have a self heal. That is false. Blades about 2 patches ago was buffed with a quick burst heal called Offer that will instantly heal you from danger, and Dark Cloak gives you minor protection at both bars at all times when not moving stationary. Example, on a Sunspire Dragon, when you're not moving, you're just doing your parse, will heal you up to 100% over time. However, you don't even need to use self heals with the damage skills, such as in your rotation Swallow Soul, you can do damage and get light passive heal through your damage rotation. Okay guys, so for the beginner's guide, I'm not going to strongly get too much into parsing info. However, I will bring it up quickly because parsing is important for rotation and learning how to do damage properly, especially if one day you want to get into harder endgame content. Now keep in mind, everything in the game is situational and different situations demand different rotations, but for now it's important beginners start to practice their rotations. The biggest misconception is that you need high-end trial gear to have hard good damage. Technically, high-end gear does help maximize your damage potential. However, this is a big but, and that is your understanding that if your rotation sucks, no matter what gear you have on, your damage will be terrible. And if your rotation is fluent through practice, with a little practice and effort, you'll be able to hit good numbers in no time, even with overland sets. Don't spend too much time spending months farming trial gear without practicing a parse. Get good beginner gear that will help you while you're going through your endgame journey. Great news though, this video is perfect for this, as I will be giving you gear you can farm quickly that is non-DLC and non-trial startup gear that anyone can farm and get quickly in no time, so you can practice your parse and as well get into any content. Okay, so on your front bar, which is always your damage front bar, you will be putting the following skills. First one is Twisted Path. This will give you damage over time and a speed buff. Then you will have Concealed Weapon. Gives you a 10% damage buff when you are in stealth, or a speed buff in any skill that is active. Then finally your Impel, which is your executioner or finisher that you use when an enemy is under 25% to finish them off and hits harder during this phase. Then we have the Bow Proc, aka Grim Focus. You want to light attack, and once you hit 5 on the Bow Proc, you will tap this button for a quick burst of damage, followed by also if you're in melee range, you get some heal back in return as well. Also buffs your weapon and spell damage while active. And then finally your Incap, which is your OT that is super cheap, hits like a truck, stunts enemies, and gives you back some resources towards the end. Then finally, the skill I left out because I call this the flex skills. This will be determined to your preference. The two flex skills you can choose from is Swallow Soul or Debilitate. Both come from the Siphoning Blade skill line. If you feel you can survive perfectly fine in your rotation and just want some extra dot damage, then Debilitate will be good. However, if you're finding yourself in a situation that needs more survivability with damage, Swallow Soul will be a win-win, as it is a damage skill that provides some light healing the more you damage your enemy, plus it has passive heals from helps you survive as well from the siphoning tree. Also, you can be used at times as a spammable. This skill is great, especially if you're going downstairs, backyard, or something like an arena, Maelstrom or Reishwan, where you may need a little bit healing because you're by yourself with no healer or tank. Next skills are for your back bar, which is considered your buff and heal bar, usually for damage over time skills or AoE skills, buffers, heals, shields, or any flex skills that help buff and enhance your main damage bar. Walls of Elements comes from the Destruction skill line, which you want to use either a fire or lightning staff for the back bar. For beginners, fire or lightning is fine. As you get more advanced, you're probably going to be recommended by when you get into endgame to use more fire staff. Then you have the bar trap. As much as I try to take it out and sacrifice it, it is just too good. It enhances your critical damage, followed by your Fighter's Guild passives that enhance your damage, followed by skills that give a huge bleed damage, good especially for big million health monsters to kill. Dark Shade from the Shadow Blade skill line gives you resistance and damage reduction by up to 5% for a few seconds, followed by a damage dot over time to enemies. And then you have Siphoning Attack. This skill does no damage, but remember I mentioned about how good survivability is all about blade rotation. Siphoning helps you stay alive while giving you a short heal and resources, long as you don't forget to keep it active in your rotation. There are many people who perfect using Siphoning Attack in the rotation so well they never have to use any self heals, but that takes time to master. So do have and use to your advantage some of the flex skills that will help you along the journey, such as Offering skill. Any morph to your preference gives you a quick heal burst and also heals a teammate in front of you, or there's Dark Cloak, which I mentioned earlier through the video and gives minor protection on both bars as well as resistance and self-heal, but great when stationary because it doubles your heal. Like in Sunspire, if you're in a dragon and you're not moving, you're just doing your parts rotation, that's gonna double your heal. Or you can simply use from the Mage's Guild any morph for Entropy. One of the morphs gives you a soft heal while doing damage, the more you do damage, or the other gives you damage while buffing your spell and weapon damage, especially if you want to use tri potions instead of weapon and spell pots. Your gear will be Slime Crawl, Medium Head and Shoulders, Overwhelming Body, and your weapons and jewelry will be Daggers, Mother Sorrow, jewelry will be Mother Sorrow. As you can see, one of the things that you may notice about the weapons is some of the weapons are in gold, some are in purple. I actually did that on purpose. Reason being is because this is a beginner's build, so there are some things to consider, which I try to handicap. Pretty much that what I try to do is keep in mind, if you're a beginner's mode, you're probably not going to be over 1000 CP. If you are, then congratulations, but if you're not, a lot of the CP really carries your damage as well as mitigations and everything, and you're probably not going to have enough until you probably reach 1200, 1300. Because of that, your damage will be limited. With this non-DLC gear, the good thing about it, you're going to be getting anywhere from 70, 60 to maybe in the 80, 85, 88k damage, which is pretty good considering it's just non-basic non-DLC gear, which is really good. You're a beginner, don't emphasize how hard you hit, but just do work on it, because as you start getting better gear and as you start practicing, you're gonna notice it's gonna get better and better. Do not wait till the very end. Do not spend too much time farming stuff without practicing your parts. If you do that, I'm telling you, you're gonna waste time. Do it at the beginning. I always recommend that you do it at the beginning, You can always rewind this video so you can see what traits you need and vice versa, as well as the CP guide. As you can see, the CP is going to be a little different now at lower CP or beginners, because this build is also not just for trial, it's also for arenas, for solo content, for PvE. Anything in PvE you can pretty much do with this build. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always leave comments and I can provide more details and vice versa. Few things I did want to mention to also consider is also when you're running in a group, when you're running by yourself. So the CP tree that I put here is when it's more when you're running by yourself. It's also great, you can use it for any content, because keep in mind, because you're so low CP, like I said before, you can keep it on for now. However, once you start reaching the higher CPs, some of the CP as far as skills might change as well. You know, you might notice that some skills become a little bit lackluster, where you might switch around your flex skills. I gave you plenty of flex skills that you can take a look at. CP tree will change a little bit as well. Gear will change as well. For example, slime crawl. As you start getting into the 1200, 1300, you're probably just going to want to use the one piece. But for right now, like I said, CP is not carrying you because you're low CP and you're beginner. So having both slime crawl will be to your benefit. You'll notice it right away as you start getting more CP. Then you're eventually going to change your helm because to one piece or maybe something different, because you'll see that the damage will start lowering a little bit. What else I was going to say? Also, for when you're doing game content with groups, there is in the red tree certain skills like rejuvenation for recovery, or even slottables you can use, let's say for faster resurrection. Depending on your group, you are in beginner's mode. So if you're in a group that's dying a lot, you may want to use the resurrection that gets you a little quicker. But if you're in a better group, you may just want to use rejuvenation more for your recoveries. You know, you're fortified, you're you don't really use bashing on a Nightblade, because I don't recommend using any shields on a Nightblade. I mean, there's really no need. You know, you can use other resources as well. Mother Sorrow comes from the Shaman Morhold, will help you at the beginning, but eventually you'll start changing into upper tier. But don't decom Mother Sorrow, always keep it as a backup, as such a good DPS mag set that you can put on your backup tunes, or even mix and match with other gear. Then you have Overwhelming, comes from Tempest Island, a basic dungeon. Overwhelming is great because it doing damage is going to help maintain resources till you perfect your rotation better. Plus, keep in mind you're low on CP, so Overwhelming is going to be a huge help and a training wheel until you get more experience and CP and you become a better player. And even then, you can always mix and match it too for fun and enjoy content with it. Plus, it comes in light to help you with penetration. Mother Sorrow also does with penetration as well. Then there's Slime Crawl that comes from Wayward Swords, basic dungeon. Slime Crawl followed by Mother Sorrow will help you higher your crit chance. Alternative gear, once you start getting more CP and you start getting better. Also, if other gear you can get as well, if you are able to craft already, or if someone craft for you, Order's Wrath is definitely an upgrade. And if you have DLC zones, War Maiden will be an upgrade from Vardenfell. It's a good upgrade too, and you can also put it with Overwhelming as well. Other alternative monster helms could be one piece Slime Crawl, followed by a mix of something you like, maybe a mythic, or you can go to Unhallowed Grave DLC dungeon and get Kajarners or Zons from Skullcaller Peak. Trial gear, once you start getting to trial gear, some that may be good are Reliquants from Cloudburst Somerset DLC, Order Depths from Dreadcell Reef High Isle DLC, Pillar of Nirn from Falkreath Hold DLC dungeon, Kimruns from Black Drake Villa DLC dungeon, or Aegis Caller that's going to be buffed this new patch from Unhallowed Grave DLC dungeon.